I guess while it's just us, because I did want to talk to you about what you wrote. Um,
Didn't realize at that point that there already was a sort of, bites, little bits of, um, I hadn't looked in the group folder. I'd looked at some of the other things. So
yeah.
if what you're about to say is it makes more sense to fold it into that,
So
that's not a problem. The only question is the style of what I wrote is pretty different. So I don't know what you want to do about that. Oh, there we go. Okay,
so
cool.
I have your bite
Yeah,
here, and then
yeah,
what I was hoping to do is to kind of have like a by the numbers
got
whole
it.
section.
Yeah.
And I haven't formatted it yet, but we'd have like 72% big, and then like the explanation of it, and just like
Uh-huh.
come up with all of these stats, because I really liked the by the numbers section, but kind of split it off and expand it into its own deal was kind of my
Great. This sounds great. I've got a long flight ahead of me today, so I'll, not that I'm claiming ownership of the whole section, but I'll see if I can think up anything else that's fun.
Yeah, no, I really dug it. I thought like ebert was like awesome, and there were so many great.
I went through three different versions, all caps, capital E, small rest, and then I decided that this was the best one because it was the inversion of his real name. Plus you kept the Bert like in Roberta, capitalized. So I
Yeah,
figured six nerds will get it,
I loved it. So yeah, I think that's the idea. I'm gonna try to kind of comb through some magazines. I definitely think that this is something that you should, feel open to like taking the lead on. But I also think it could be definitely a section where people are kind of riffing on this, like choose a number and then choose like a random explanation of the statistic. Uh,
Great.
but no, I really liked it, and I think I'm gonna just kind of take us at once everyone gets here, take us all through the whole flat
Yeah,
plan
yeah, yeah.
and
I'm
kind of go
excited to
page
see
by
it.
page. But uh I do think that your the piece that you and your co-authors wrote about Bogart totally fits within the
Okay.
industry news kind of section. So
It,
yeah,
it's interesting that that means you've got two references to Warner Brothers in there, which I
yeah,
thought was really interesting. When I came across the one about the studio closing.
yeah, yeah. We're cooking. I don't. We still have some. We're in. I think I'm really happy with where we're at. There's definitely some blank spots, but so this is like the standing cover with the logo that Dre made. I think kind of need to think more about this, but I guess the first idea was to kind of have it be like a full. It was inspired by this like ad magazine that was just like the cover and the logo, and you don't really know what the magazine is about. And I think we'll see we'll see if this works. I think. I mean, I love the logo, but it's like, should we add like previews of articles in here? What should we, would that work? So I think that's just something that I would like to test. Um, these pages are pretty resolved. I think, um, I think in general, like the kind of layout is something that, and like editorial design is something that I don't have a lot of experience doing. And I'm just kind of doing my best to copy existing magazines. Um, one thing is that we've gone through a lot of iterations of the actual dimensions for the magazine. We're doing 8.5 by 11, just standard letter. So if
Mhm.
you've made ads in the past that don't adhere to those sizes, then it would be great if you could update them. Um, this is our first blank, which is fine. We just need, I would like a full spread ad. And then here's the industry news section. I think we're pretty close. We could I think we could maybe stand to fill it up a little more, and I have some written that we haven't used, but I like it. I think it's fun. I think everyone's tones kind of fit together. I'm going to share this PDF if people want to like read it. I'm trying to figure out like the best place to share it for people to like easily add notes, whether it's about the writing or the editorial design or about new things that you could add to a section, whatever. This is going to work as an extension, I think, of the industry news section, but kind of by the numbers. Jill and her co-authors of her book, Private Eye, were messing around, I guess, or having fun writing for Green Pages, and like,
Having fun, yes.
created this section that I thought was really effective in terms of kind of like bringing statistics into the magazine. I think we've talked a lot about how analytics could influence the industry and how numbers are going to become a bigger part of it. And so I think this is like a nice nod to that, but also a way to kind of have fun with it. I think there are some things in here that we could expand on, either in advertisements or in other just like hints, but something like about the free stream and pay stream is something that I want to kind of expand on.
Yeah, so I don't know if you wanted me to take that out. It was paired with the Private Eye one. That's a distinction that we make, so
Right.
that the platforms you can pay and have your privacy, or you can essentially not pay and you're paying with your data.
Yeah, so I think it's something that I kind of want to keep in general. Like, I like the concept as like it's something for people to think about, like how your data is being used. And I think it's okay to kind of have it just as this thing that you read and are like, wait, what? But then, you know, in an ad later in the magazine, we can like mention it and contextualize it more about like how if you don't pay for your streaming services, this is kind of how you're paying for it, and how you do pay for it. This is how, you know, your data is safe or something. I think that's just like an interesting concept, and that there's safer. Yeah. So there isn't, I think it's not necessarily something that we need to like fully explain, but just
Okay.
like paint a more clear picture of, if that makes sense. So like leaving room for them to imagine why this would be an interesting kind of deal. I'll go through, I have like a little document going of like what's blank, but I guess we're mostly just need some more advertisements, as you can see here. Taryn and Julian, this is, so we have this industry news section that we've sort of built out more. And then Jill and her team did like kind of like a by the numbers section, and I haven't like gone into the formatting of it, but I think the way I'm imagining it is like it's just like a number, a statistics driven quick hit news section that is like talks about data analytics and audience intel and stuff like that, and kind of like breaks down the industry in terms of numbers. I think that could be a fun thing to expand on. Letters to the editor. This is something we talked about 2 weeks ago in the Green Pages meeting. Florian wrote one a while ago, but I think there's room for a couple more. These are just like random titles that I came up with Greek text, but like I don't know. I think there's something there with like telling the magazine to start prioritizing real film, and then someone else saying that like you need to stop demonizing AI generated film, and how like people are just never going to agree on this. I don't know, whatever. But like letters to the editor as a way of kind of illustrating the landscape. We need 2-3 more of those. I think those could be fun to write. like the angry caller into the radio station type deal. Camille, we talked. This is your section.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome. And then we kind of move into this features world. And this is an interview. This is one kind of like fun thing that I want to do, is like this how they made it section. And then we can kind of nod at like the technologies used. Like in the magazine now, it's like, instead of image generator, it's like camera, and then they say like Arri Alexa Mini LF, and then it'll do like aspect ratio, and it's like 70 millimeter, blah blah blah.
4.2.2 10-bit.
Yes, exactly. Like super weird technical stuff. This is the interview. I think
I'll do that. I love that kind of stuff.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I'm gonna post. I'm just going through the InDesign document right now.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'm gonna send this PDF to everyone, and I'm trying to figure out if anyone knows like a good way for all of us to make comments on a PDF and have them like kind of all collected in one spot. That's something that I am curious about. I don't, maybe it's just put it in the Google Drive. But
Have you ever used Bluebeam Studio?
No.
I don't know if it's free, it may be paid, but Bluebeam Studio is like when you're working on architecture plans and stuff, since you have to go over a lot of paper plans and do a lot of like hand marking and stuff. That's how we do it.
Okay. I'll look into it. I'm hoping I'm gonna see what we can do in the Google Drive, because it'd be nice to like not be opening up more platforms, but yeah, I marked down Bluebeam for sure. I
love the cover page, Thomas.
Yeah, thank
really
you.
Cool.
Good. That's a good, just kind of for other articles, I like started using Midjourney to like kind of fill in the spaces. These images aren't meant to be like fully deterministic of the imagery of your article, but just something to make it feel a little realer. For instance, you entered, there's this like kind of tech spec section for the line of like how they made it, and just coming up with like not random, but fictional technologies that were used to make the film to kind of fill in that box. This is yours, Taryn. I know I got the hair color wrong, but we can change this.
Yeah, I'll play around in
Great.
with her image. I'll come up with some options and put them to the group.
Cool.
I don't have her being biracial or different ethnicity. I feel like that would be an additional element being brought in there that I haven't, spoken to or don't know if I should speak to. So
for sure.
There's so many things covering in there. So let's discuss. I'll come up with some options. Yeah, I kind of think her more as like a manic pixie type archetype, sort of like a Grimes-esque, but we can see what she looks like.
Great. I was just pumped that I was like, oh man, this looks like a real.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I love the light and shadows on it. It's great. I was going to say the pattern in the dress against the light shadows and the more regular patterns in the window, I think is gorgeous. Yeah.
Shout out to my AI assistant.
Like it just generated it.
Yeah.
The mystery layers that they talk about.
How do you take credit? I don't know if I should. So Taryn, a title for your article.
Okay.
Be great. Yeah. And then kind of like a teaser.
Yeah, a tag. Totally.
Would also be awesome. I don't know if this is right to have in there, but it was kind of like, what would this movie that she was in potentially look like? We can totally take it out. I actually don't know if it makes sense for the article, and maybe it should just be photos of her. But
Right.
I might make a movie poster out of this and have it be, what's it called? Her Hamlet? The
Oh, just
movie
the-
that she was in.
I mean, it's Hamlet. I
Okay.
don't know if I like because I've been working on the other movie that made her famous, which is a synth cinema movie. So it's her as a TikTok star, but with completely AI generated backgrounds, which is completely different than obviously Hamlet, which went the film and location way, like
Cool.
long take. So yeah, let me play around with that too. But I love the goggles and the rain, and the color palette of this is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, thanks for writing, because that was definitely the inspo. Yeah, and yeah, so just kind of going through.
Pretty. How did you stabilize did you utilize a specific photo to generate off of, or did you just have a similar seed for each of these images?
This was the first one that I generated, or
Yeah.
that I like stuck with, and then I just kept on doing variations off of this one.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So I would like up-res it and then do variations subtle, and then say like close up.
Nice.
Somehow work.
She's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
cast.
I can't believe it. Yeah. And that's sort of that. This is Engine Kid. Florian will just do the captions. I don't know if you want more photos to mess with, but I think these are good.
I think it's great. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. These are real photos, by the way.
What?
Um,
It looks so real.
I
I really
am-
like that. I really like that it is mixed CGI
I think it's
or
great.
AI and real. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually really good. I like that point, Florian. Maybe we take that, we think about that as well somehow. I don't know how that reflects itself. Maybe
well, I think it's one way. I've been
not over fetishizing the images. So we're not using them because they're AI.
Well, like for this
Exactly,
one,
just to prove it.
stories article, it's like kind of her backstory is that she has this sort of like AI or metaverse existence. So then it's like, oh, maybe this is actually how she does her photo shoots. And then there's totally, I guess what I mean to say is like, I'm totally in agreement, because there are like pieces within the story that can determine how we generate or create these images. So like this one is like, we'll have like this element of like real people who worked with Chi to make things, which is fun. I've been noticing like a lot of these areas. So I think I'm putting out a call for quarter page or half page ads that are vertical, just to fill the space. This is Zach's article, which I think is really fun. I think it's about this like new studio that is called Quantum Dream Labs. I would totally recommend everyone read about it.
Especially with our new room temperature superconductor research that's circulating.
Super cool, super fun. And I'm excited to make more images of like, or just see more images, whether I make them or not, doesn't really matter. But of like the interior of the studio and what these different stages look like. I think the highlight for me in this article is he talks about like the three different ways or three different elements of filmmaking. And he says, surrounding the volume on three sides are studios for visual, ambient, and what the QDL refers to as IRL, which is like in-person filmmaking. That made me chuckle. But yeah, I mean, I think what's fun is that there really isn't that much blank space. And even though I'm an amateur editorial designer, this is like really starting to fill out. Julian, I called this out earlier while you weren't in here, but either you can send me these ads and I can resize them to 8.5 by 11. It's this one in the AI shot doc, which is super easy, but they're just the wrong aspect ratio, paper size. And
I
it's
can.
just
I'll put those on my task list because I want to go back to them anyway, just because those were just super early
for sure.
comps. 8.5 by 11 we're at.
Yeah, we're just eight. All that conceptual thinking for the 8.5 by 11. This is Gear Corner. Florian, I think that I can do a lot, or whoever, but there's a lot to be accomplished here in terms of the graphic design, and how it's actually set up. But yeah, I really like the personality of the person who is writing these. And
Actually, I used ChatGPT quite a bit for the early drafts of the text, and it worked quite well to give it quite a long paragraph of who's the person is writing this stuff.
okay,
Like,
great.
so I just wrote, you are this kind of editor with a background, blah, 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 and seems to work somehow.
Yeah, I need to, or we need images for all of this, and I'm wondering how exactly we should think about how exactly that should look. But yeah,
So I could imagine for this for the images here. I mean, by the way, I'm camping in Norway for the next 3 weeks, so
Yeah.
my access to imagery might be a bit limited. But I could imagine this to be like real product shots, like on a white
Okay.
background. So
Cool.
so at least for the things that are physical, not the like an app doesn't have a product shot, obviously.
Yeah, but
So
there are
screenshot.
those like kind of, they have like I mean, I don't think this is the right way now, but there are those like iPhone app shots where it's like a bunch of iPhone screens showing like the many steps to go through the app. I can send those.
So I might have some time on my hands tomorrow because I'm sitting in the train. I might be able to do some stuff and at least share some, like some starters for images.
Yeah, I think if you
I think
give
this would help.
direction, then I'm happy to kind of
Yeah. So not like I don't have like a specific thing in mind, but maybe it helps people to join in.
Yeah, or if while you're camping you want to do some like drawings in the dirt, that could work too.
Yes.
Taryn, this is our dedicated space for the Motion Picture Environmental Alliance. In the industry news section, I talk about how in New Mexico they certify 10 waste sites, and so jobs are moving to New Mexico, and like the Bonanza Creek Ranch is reemerging as a filmmaking destination because they have certified waste sites, and how people should be on the lookout for where the MPEA is certifying waste sites as like a bellwether for where film jobs could be going.
Okay.
So that's sort of where this inspiration is, but always open to like other perspectives or directions. That's what inspired this image. Again, it's not really deterministic. I think I could jam on that and see what happens, but I also have an ad that looks a lot like this, so I think it should
Right.
probably look different.
Well, I guess it's who are we targeting for, like, do we want to make it like a fantastical Hollywood feel to it of like, well, like this is like the reality of it, but what feeling do we want to evoke to move productions? Because, anytime you're moving people out of LA, there has to be this enticing, besides to a producer, you're saving eco tax credits or something.
Yeah. I guess I was kind of I was working in Austin, right? And so like a lot of the people I work with are now in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Or they moved to Atlanta.
Oh yeah. Everyone I
Right.
know to Atlanta. And it's not fun to shoot there, that's for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I think what you're saying about like the feeling rather than the reality, especially for this, is like making it feel more addy. I've looked at some EPA ads that I'll share with you. I think there's room for some like pretty funny, like big text taglines.
I mean, like right now, it's like with my vision's a little bad today. I'm like switching between glasses. I'm like, is this a really, really big, like in the desert? I keep thinking of like Breaking Bad. I'm like, is this a huge meth lab?
Yeah.
You know?
Let me find this. Let me just share this image real. I'm gonna switch my screen just while we're on this topic. But like I came across like this this EPA ad. It's like or maybe it's not specifically the EPA, but it's like an environmental ad. It's like, is the grass really greener if all of the blue crabs are gone? I don't know what the analog to the film
Right.
industry
No, I
is,
like
but like some like big tagline like that
Mm-hmm.
be a fun zone to play in.
No, I like that.
Okay, back to the flat plan.
So I thought your choice of what looked like cargo containers here was actually reinforcing the I have the Warner Brothers closes their last real person set in the back of my head. And then as you've been talking, there was another instance in which you mentioned something about physical set being stuck in a corner. You know, largely floor space was dedicated to AI processing, and then you've got sort of what the remnants of physicality stuck in the corner. And so I thought that this was intentional, as sort of saying like, that's what it's going to be, because everyone may go there, but they're just going to go there for server farms, to be closer to the server farms. I don't know if that was your intention, but it all came together for me.
Okay. Yeah. I get what you mean. I mean, there's it is this little middle of nowhere deal. I think maybe there is something with this image that we can do. I don't think it's the right thing for the MPEA, but I think it is a fun. It's definitely got a farm vibe. It's new age. This is the article I'm working on that I'm still working on. But hopefully I'll be done with it today or tomorrow. I think what it's going to be is two filmmakers kind of like introducing their plan to break out of the like distribution patterns of Hollywood, and trying to like kind of chart their own path and figure out a way to essentially become self-publishers, and basically introducing what they're going to do, rather than it being some way of like, this is totally going to work, or it has been working. I just want them to kind of be like, yeah, we like worked at Apple for 3 years and it was really hard for us, and now we took a break and now we're going to do this. So I'll be sending that out soon. And yeah, my mama got stuck in your metaverse is still in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one needs a little bit of work, but I'm digging it.
Crew member profile. This is an article I really want to have written by someone kind of getting at a new job in Hollywood that's underappreciated. This is super inspired by a New York Times article that was really beautiful, writing about Wes Anderson's Dolly Grip. And I just thought it was so good, because my favorite person to see on a set was a Dolly Grip named Patrick. So it was just cool to see this man who like was from India and was like a rugby player turned Dolly Grip highlighted. So if someone wants to take this one on, let me know. And then the classifieds page. So this is like, I've been trying to do good layout editorial design of these pages, and it's been hard, I think, and it's definitely a work in progress.
What's the hard part?
I just I don't know. I think like getting the right amount of like imagery, like figuring out the right images has been hard.
I don't
And
think I so just to say so
yeah,
sorry to interrupt. I
you're
don't
good.
think I don't think it needs images. I don't think
Okay.
if I'm understanding what this is. This is like the classifieds.
Yeah.
If so, well, I guess the other question is, what were the images? Why did you feel like they needed images? Did you have a reference for like classified ads that you were
Yes.
working on? Okay.
Yeah. But I hear you. I guess I think, well, okay, if we don't,
I might be old school. When I think of classifieds, I think about the Princeton Packet, my small hometown newspaper. And I remember
Okay.
my dad taking me over there to put a classified in for something I wanted to sell. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna show you how to put together a classified ad." We go there and you write it out, but it was all text, and it was just that stuff that appears that's quite terse. Or I think of like I sometimes run classified ads on Kai Brock's Din's Discovery, and it's just like bottom dollar remnant stuff. It's just you could just get a bunch of text and a link.
okay.
It's sort of what is what I'm thinking, but I don't want to cut off the possibility of using images. But if you're saying the images are your sticking point, then I would say take them out and see what happens.
Yeah.
Just as a just to kind of get things moving. If that's the thing that's getting you stuck,
Mhm.
then step to the side and maybe we'll come back to it.
Yeah. Okay. We'll keep working.
I
Yes.
I got another little idea. Somehow my feeling would be that for this kind of ads, the font size would be a bit bigger. It's
Okay.
hard to explain, but somehow I would it imagine be more something like even I mean you don't have to change the main font, but something like Courier or so, like
Yeah. I hear
you know
you.
what I mean? Like this it's hard to explain, but less like it's more functional and less like a nice looking thing like the rest is.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. It's also like kind of a nostalgic piece. Like it's not necessarily going to be using
Yeah.
this.
Sorry,
Yeah.
you're saying make the fonts bigger?
And maybe more serifs, I think also is what Florian's getting
Yeah,
at.
it's maybe not exactly the right thing. I'm not sure, but somehow if I imagine how I know these things, then somehow the text is a bit more in your face, so that you don't have to, it's not like an editorial article where you sit down on Sunday and take your time to read it for 15 minutes. It's more like something you would go through very quickly.
I always thought that they were small because they were just trying to optimize how
I
many
get your
ads they could
point.
get in. Like it always
Yeah,
seemed like
that's
this is the
also
cheap
yeah.
stuff. Like the expensive stuff is where you get a full spread and you get huge font because you want to. But this stuff is kind of like in that remnant category. Is my experience and kind of instinct.
I
That,
tend
you know, it's a
I tend to go with your point. I get it.
Are you sure, or did I just commit?
No, I'm not completely certain.
Yeah, I think it could also be helpful. Is and maybe I'll just find a magazine and like I think the New Yorker still does it. They used to do these wonderful classifieds. I don't know if they do anymore. I think they went too high.
I think what I need to find, and I think you're getting at it, is like a classy classified ad section, because I think the ones I've been seeing are more like almost like that like coupon books that from the grocery store that you get. Like they're more like that, which I don't think is quite right. So I'll play around with that. I'm gonna rewatch this meeting and just like note all the things. But again, like I was talking about earlier, I'm gonna share this PDF, and like I think all comments are welcome. And like adding references to things we need more gear. I think honestly, I thought we were good. I think we are going to need more classified ads, right?
Mhm.
Which is totally fine and fun and doable. But yeah, we're at 76 pages right now, which I think is with some blank pages, obviously, like this back cover. I think we'll want to do something more than that. But I think we could get up to like into the 80s if we want to do more advertisements. And I think that could be it would be nice, I think, in a way, to get up into the 80s. But that really is predicated on doing more full page advertisements. So.
And would this be geared towards like people too looking to like, I was looking at Krista Kim's new super rare NFT collection, which is called Zen Pods. And they're like these really cool, like futuristic, like meditation pods. And I'm like, what's the future of like home entertainment, immersive experience iteration of that? So like, you know, I think on one of my ideas of classifieds when it came to sort of building out your virtual worlds, like, do you want a Nancy Meyers set as your home virtual world kind of thing? Like, do you want that kind of an ad for somebody who can come in and design the most immersive, you know, entertainment room for you? So something like that.
I love that idea because Florian has been talking, and actually there's like real tech around this, but like kind of like how your entertainment room can change. So like whether it's like a totally immersive space or it's a blockbuster hologram projector, like how does that change how you arrange your media room or living room or whatever? Like if your TV is actually like your coffee table and like the image pops up out of it, like how does that change what a couch looks like? I don't know, but I think that's kind of an interesting. Like I'm actually getting rid of my TV right now because I live in a small apartment and it's like way too big and I can't deal with it. It's just like always looking down at me. But like,
I get your point.
But like, I think, yes, that's like totally a service that is really interesting. And I think also immersive entertainment isn't something we're totally diving into. So it could be fun to get into that a little more. I'm actually meeting with a guy who does like those he like makes those like interactive radio AR walks. And I don't know, there's just like this magazine could be 1,000 pages if we never decided to print it. Just kept making things for it.
In what you're calling, or at least what Julian called classified, the green pages at the end, are any of those categories that you have labeled a place where you could put personal classifieds? And I'm asking because I have this image of Ishiguro's AI that gets relegated to the dump, sending in a classified looking for a human.
Yeah.
Just, you know, you have sort of all of these things out there that are going to create bonds and have memories and, like, you know, can't fulfill their goals. And so where would they go? How would they do that? Right.
I think that is definitely something that is already a part of the classifieds, like having them be personal, like
it's in there. Okay.
So yeah.
If you have any other, because I think we need more. So Jill, if there's something that you want to just kind of have fun, you know, putting together. I think these are quite tight, aren't they, Thomas? They're just I don't know if they're even 100 words. They're probably less than that.
Yeah, definitely can be less than that. There's this one I'll show you, Jill, is like seeking rare deprecated VR devices. Esteemed readers, Multimedia History Museum seeks old VR devices, need obscure, blah, 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 blah. Sincerely, Dr. Archibald J. Abernathy. So like, there's definitely room for this. I mean, we've also talked about this kind of like becoming a window into like the black market of this new film industry. So yeah, it's honestly, it's like this fun, interesting paid space where like if you pay for you know, space in the green services section of the classifieds, you can kind of write whatever you want. you know?
Okay. I mean, I just remember it was something Julian said about the New Yorker, you know, even the New Yorker used to have, you know, lonely Harvard educated male looking 45
Yeah, that's
looking
right.
for,
Yeah.
right? I don't know if they do
Mhm.
it anymore, but I remember they used to.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
That this is like, I think the way we're treating this is, well, it's like a playground. So for a while, Jill, like the meeting was us just like making classifieds and like having fun. And then those classifieds kind of started turning into articles or advertisements if we wanted to. So it's like a brainstorming space that ends up being a part of the magazine. But yeah, that is Green Pages right now. So it's 76 pages. I'll just share this. I'm gonna expand on this a little bit, but these are like the most clear instructions these are like the spaces where it's like, we don't have this and we need to expand or make it. So I should probably do this in a Google sheet. But we need one full spread advertisement. That one we haven't conceptualized of yet. We need 3 full page advertisements. So 8.5 by 11. We need 1 half-page advertisement. We need 2 quarter-page advertisements. And then we need to work on this soundbite section and fill out a page with that. And then we need to do the crew member profile. And those are the things that we just don't have drafts of at all. And this is just in the main Green Pages Google Drive folder if you want to check in on it. And I'll try to add more specific instructions, and the number of ads. I think I need to play around with the layout, but I think the balance is a little off between articles and ads right now, and I think we could inject like 4 more pages of ads just to make it feel and flow a little more like a magazine ought to. So, but yeah, I mean, thank you everyone for taking the time to write. All the contributions are super duper appreciated, and
Thank you for laying it all out.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
work.
Great to see it.
yeah. I'm excited to share the PDF. I'll export that after this. And yeah, I mean, it's like every week it's starting to feel more and more like a magazine. So
Absolutely.
I really encourage everyone, like, if you can't write or if you can't make an ad, to like go into the Google Drive and like leave comments on people's writing, tell them what works, what's not. Like, I think we all are like friendly people and know how to like leave comments on people's work and not make them feel like they shouldn't be writing. I don't know, like we're all making great stuff. So I hope that everyone's also like open to receiving comments. And yeah, I think if you're struggling to get just time wise to get involved, as like because you're in a time crunch, but you're like, oh, I'm bored and I want to spend half an hour doing something, like leaving comments and getting familiar with what everyone's writing is a super helpful thing, I think. And I think it's a super beneficial, just because if someone, you never know when someone's having a writer's block. So it's like always nice to like read like, oh, this is working. So I'll push on that. And then also, whenever you do finish a draft, I'll just reiterate, like putting it in the Discord is the best way to get comments. Discord, Google Drive, and then I will do my best to read it promptly, and yeah, sweet. I'm really excited. I was really pumped last
I'm
night.
super excited.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, I guess the other section that surprisingly needs more work is the classifieds, in terms of, not just in terms of layout, but like writing. So that's also a fun light lift of like 20 minutes. Let's bust out 150 words and have a bit of a laugh. That's always good. So
It makes me Jill, you talking about like the personal ads, makes me think of that Ted Chiang short story in Exhalations, where a guy basically is looking for new server space for his like VR child, basically. So he's like birthed this child through VR, and it sort of developed, you know,
Oh,
through
wow.
AI. And
This
then
is
that
like a
company-
whole new adopting thing,
Yeah.
right? How you could adopt, like it's like the opposite of SETI. Instead of looking out there, like
Yeah.
stop wasting your cycles looking for aliens. Use your cycles to adopt an AI child or
Yeah.
a virtual child. I love that. That's so great.
Yeah, it's a really trippy short story.
Sorry, who's the name again? I don't know it. This is-
Ted Chiang, he's Chinese. He wrote the movie that Arrival was based, the book that Arrival was
Yeah.
based on, the story of your life. But he has a short story book called Exhalation.
Exhalations. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
okay. Does anyone have any
Cool.
questions or thoughts?
How to create your AI clones so that you can spend more time on stuff like this.
Mhm.
Execute.